to everybody who's watching this video. I hope you're all doing well. So this is going to be a video on how homeschooling literally taught me the meaning of life. So I became homeschooled when I was 14 years old, and I do believe it was God that got me out of school because the situation, it was miraculous that I got that opportunity, and I was wanting to so bad for so long, and then basically there was an incident where I was bullied, and finally the schools gave me permission to leave school, and finally my parents would allow me to be homeschooled. I was begging and begging because not only was I bullied, but also just because I felt there was something off about the school system, and I just felt like I would be happier if I had freedom to learn what I want to learn instead of just what the school forces everyone to. And I just felt like I would feel better outside of that. And so I left public school in 2016. I was 14 years old, a freshman, and basically I was so happy, but as soon as I left regular school, I started to have a different mentality that I didn't have when I was in regular school, So I just started to really question things more in depth than I did before, and I really started to seek for meaning and truth in life, because I kind of just knew there was something more to life when I left school, because there's just something about being away from that school system that gets your focus on what really matters. And so I had the freedom to learn what I wanted to learn now. I didn't have to learn all of these things that the school taught. So I had the ability to enhance my creativity and really be on a pursuit for truth and just find what really matters. And I think that's a beautiful thing about homeschooling, is particularly unschooling, is you get to learn in a way that's in alignment with your own unique life purpose. So basically, I got into the new age, So I was seeking for truth, of course, and that's where a lot of truth seekers do go at some point in their life, just because it's kind of outside of mainstream religion, right? So I would be interested in all these things, connecting with the universe, and I was really into listening to the teachings of Primer Watt, which is kind of like a guru guy. And because people believe that they can receive knowledge from him, and by knowledge they mean knowledge of the universe, and there's just something about him that can reveal it to people. And so I was interested in that because from what I've heard, it just seemed legitimate, and I wanted whatever it was, because I was looking. I don't know what it is about being away from the school system that really made me want to seek, but there was something that did. And so I was looking, and eventually I ended up becoming a Christian. And so I just think that being homeschooled helped me with that, along with learning what learning really is about, because it's not about these grades or these tests that people in school take. It's not about just scoring well on these tests so you can get a future job. it's about learning things that really matter in life. Like, I wanted to learn, like, what's the meaning of life? Like, why are we here? And things that pertain to me. Like, I did learn some worldly things. Like, I had an interest in learning languages, and that is something that I have been passionate about. I did learn some things about nature. I even did some formal classes at a co-op. So I did some just everyday things. But the main thing was, it's not something that you can measure on a standardized test. And that was looking for the truth. And I learned many things just about the corruption of this world, and just also that we have a purpose. And ultimately, I came to realize that there is a God, and we are not some mere accident. Like, we didn't just evolve in a universe that exploded from nothing and then evolved from bacteria. Like, we have such an amazing purpose that I think a lot of people don't even realize. And I realized that I had kind of been lied to my entire life. So I just think that being homeschooled, I was allowed to be creative and really question things and come to this understanding, because once you understand it, it is so incredibly beautiful. And life is not about passing an exam or scoring good on a test. Like, there's so much more, and I think that there's just a meaning in our lives, and God created every one of us with a purpose. And homeschooling just, it led me to look for that, to seek for that, because now I was a free thinker. I didn't have to learn exactly what the school taught, do exactly what the school says for 7 hours a day. And I feel like I had kind of been in a mental cage in childhood, not really allowed to seek for that. I mean, I wasn't like totally oblivious to it. Like, I've always been one to question things, but I think that being able to be homeschooled has really enhanced that about me, and I think that it can other people too. And I do believe that, like, a lot of people will think, like, okay, how can you get a job like this? First of all, homeschoolers can get a job. And second of all, I mean, God will provide for me. I know that. Like, I do believe it was God that got me out of school, and I do think that there was a very special reason for it. And I feel like I wasn't born for the mainstream, and I don't think that anybody is. I think that we've just been so distracted from day one. And I think that the school system, it kind of puts people into this box. And I think that there's a way where there's a lot more freedom in life. Like, you can have a purpose, and not just homeschooling, but there's a lot of ways that you can really seek out the truth. And maybe homeschooling's not everybody's path that's going to lead them to truth. Like, people do come to truth in so many different ways, but that's what worked for me, and maybe it worked for more people. So I just wanted to show people that, because homeschooling, it taught me something that public school never could have. It's not about the dry facts, but something more beautiful, and a way of learning that's aligned with our life purpose and what life is really about. So guys, if you would like more videos on homeschooling, please leave them in the comments, or just any videos, because I really want to post more on this channel. I'm really getting passionate about it, so yeah. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and this is my 4th video on this channel ever. So yeah, I hope that it was good, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!